What if the ruins scattered across our planet, carved in stone, aligned with the stars, buried beneath jungle and sand, aren't just relics of the past, but signs of something deeper we still don't understand? How did ancient civilizations move stones weighing hundreds of tons without machines? Why do temples, pyramids, and monuments across continents align with celestial bodies and match mathematical precision we only rediscovered recently? And why do so many advanced cultures seem to vanish without explanation, leaving behind mysteries we still can't solve? Despite centuries of research and all the power of modern science, there are places, structures, and stories scattered throughout the ancient world that defy logic, that raise questions we're still afraid to answer. This is more than a history lesson. It's a journey across time. From the highlands of Peru to the deserts of Egypt, the depths of the ocean to the peaks of forgotten cities. You're watching FactInquisitor, where the extraordinary becomes understandable, and curiosity is always rewarded. And remember, don't just watch. Be part of the journey, like and subscribe. So sit back, relax, and grab a snack. This documentary is designed for you to watch, or simply listen in the background, as we uncover the strange, the ancient, and the unsolved. These are the 25 ancient mysteries science still hasn't solved. Atlantis, a name that echoes across centuries, the image of a lost civilization swallowed by the sea. The first account comes from the Greek philosopher Plato, writing nearly 2,400 years ago. In his dialogues Timaeus and Critias, he describes a mighty island nation, larger than Libya and Asia combined, thriving beyond the Pillars of Hercules, what we now call the Strait of Gibraltar. Atlantis, according to Plato, was a land of dazzling cities, advanced technology, and unmatched wealth. Its people, descended from the gods, lived in grand palaces and lush gardens, surrounded by concentric rings of water and land. But as the Atlanteans grew powerful, they also grew greedy, corrupt, and vain. Their downfall, Plato warned, was not an external enemy, but their own moral decay. And in a single cataclysmic day and night, Atlantis was lost beneath the ocean. For centuries, scholars debated Plato's story. Was Atlantis a real place, a historical memory passed down through generations? Or was it simply an allegory, a warning about the dangers of human hubris? Modern theories range from the plausible to the extraordinary. Some point to the eruption of Santorini, a volcanic disaster that wiped out the Minoan civilization around 1600 BC, as a possible inspiration for the myth. Others look to the sunken land masses of Doggerland beneath the North Sea, or the mysterious structures found off the coast of Cuba. And still, some wonder if Atlantis never existed on Earth at all, but in memory, myth, or perhaps even in the stars. Despite centuries of searching, from the Atlantic to the Mediterranean, from Antarctica to the Caribbean, the true location of Atlantis, if it ever existed, remains hidden. Buried not just beneath oceans, but deep within the imagination of humanity itself. Was Atlantis a forgotten chapter of human history, or a mirror reflecting our deepest fears and our greatest dreams? 2. Göbekli Tepe, Turkey. High on a dusty hilltop in southeastern Turkey, something extraordinary lies buried. A place that rewrites the story of civilization itself. Göbekli Tepe. Dating back to around 9,600 BC, it predates Stonehenge by 6,000 years. It predates the Great Pyramid by over 7,000 years. It predates agriculture, written language, and organized cities. At a time when humanity was thought to be nothing more than wandering hunter-gatherers, the people of Göbekli Tepe carved massive stone pillars, some weighing up to 20 tons, and arranged them into enormous circular enclosures. Each pillar is adorned with intricate carvings, foxes, lions, scorpions, and strange abstract symbols. A bestiary of the ancient world, frozen in stone. There are no signs of permanent settlement, no traces of homes, no evidence of farming. Göbekli Tepe was not a city. It was not a village. It was a temple, a place of ritual, a sacred monument raised by nomads long before the dawn of organized religion. But why? How did a prehistoric society, without wheels, without metal tools, without written language, build something so complex, so monumental, that it challenges the very timeline of human progress? Some scholars believe Göbekli Tepe may represent the birth of organized religion, that it was spirituality, not survival, that first drove humans to gather, to organize, to build. Others speculate it was a gathering place for seasonal ceremonies, astronomical observations, or perhaps a site to honor ancestors and deities now lost to time. Even more astonishing, at some point, the people who built Göbekli Tepe deliberately buried it under tons of earth, preserving it, hiding it, for reasons unknown. Buried for over 10,000 years, the hill concealed one of humanity's oldest, greatest mysteries, a secret written not in words, but in stones that still stand today, silent, unyielding, and waiting. Göbekli Tepe challenges everything we thought we knew, about who we are, about where we come from, about what we may have forgotten. 3. The Nazca Lines, Peru. Across the vast dry plains of southern Peru, ancient hands etched drawings into the earth, drawings so massive they can only truly be seen from the sky. The Nazca Lines. Spanning more than 200 square miles, these mysterious figures were carved into the desert floor nearly 2,000 years ago by the ancient Nazca culture. Lines stretching across the barren earth, spirals, trapezoids, geometric shapes, and dozens of enormous animals, birds, whales, even what appears to be humanoid forms. Each geoglyph was created by removing the dark, oxidized stones that cover the desert surface, revealing the lighter soil beneath. What is most astonishing is the scale. Some figures stretch over 1,000 feet long, so large they cannot be properly seen from the ground. Which begs the question, who were these ancient artists truly creating for? And how did they design such perfectly proportioned figures without ever seeing them from above? Were they walking along ropes, mapping with primitive surveying tools lost to history? Or were they guided by something else? A knowledge, a vision that modern science cannot fully explain. Some researchers believe the lines had astronomical significance, marking the solstices and constellations. Others see them as ceremonial pathways, walked in sacred processions to honor water gods and ensure survival in the harsh desert. And some suggest they were a message to the heavens themselves, a beacon, a signal. The Nazca Lines have endured nearly 2,000 years of time, wind, and weather, preserved by the desert's dry, stable climate. Yet their true meaning remains elusive. Are they messages to the gods, star maps written into the earth, or the ultimate expression of human imagination reaching toward the unknown? The desert keeps its secrets well, and for now, the Nazca Lines remain a riddle written across the sands of time. 4. The Hidden Catacombs of Egypt. Beneath the golden sands of Egypt, beyond the towering pyramids and the crumbling temples, lies another world, one hidden from view for thousands of years. The Hidden Catacombs of Egypt, a vast labyrinth of tunnels, burial chambers, and forgotten tombs stretching for miles beneath the surface. Some catacombs were carefully carved by ancient hands, entire networks dedicated to gods, kings, and sacred animals. Others remain unexplored, sealed off by time, collapse, and mystery. One of the most astonishing discoveries lies at Saqqara, where the Serapeum holds giant stone sarcophagi, each weighing over 70 tons, crafted with such precision that even today their purpose remains debated. Were they built to house sacred Apis bulls, worshipped by the ancient Egyptians? Or do they hint at rituals and technologies far beyond what we understand of the Old Kingdom? And Saqqara is only part of the story. Legends speak of vast underground complexes beneath Giza, hidden chambers beneath the Great Sphinx, lost libraries containing the wisdom of a forgotten civilization. Modern technology, ground-penetrating radar, seismic scans, has revealed cavities, tunnels, and anomalies deep beneath the plateau, spaces untouched by modern explorers. What lies hidden there? Ancient knowledge? Unfinished tombs? Or something even more extraordinary? Access is limited. Official excavations move cautiously, if at all. And for every passage we discover, there are dozens more waiting in the dark. Egypt still holds its greatest secrets underground, in the silence of the stone corridors, in the untouched tombs, in the chambers that have not seen light in 5,000 years. And perhaps the answers to our deepest questions lie buried, waiting, just beneath our feet. 5. The Piri Race Map. In a dusty Ottoman library in 1929, a forgotten piece of parchment was rediscovered, a relic that would baffle historians and scientists alike. The Piri Race Map. Dated to 1513, it was created by an Ottoman admiral, Piri Race, a master cartographer who claimed to have copied it from even older sources, some reaching back to the time of Alexander the Great. At first glance, it shows parts of the known world: the western coast of Africa, Europe, and the eastern edge of South America. But then, something strange. The map also seems to depict the northern coastline of Antarctica, a landmass that wasn't officially discovered until the 19th century. Even more astonishing, it appears without the thick ice sheets that have buried the continent for millennia. How could a 16th century sailor, or the ancient sources he drew from, know about a coastline hidden beneath miles of ice? Modern studies suggest Antarctica has been covered in ice for at least 6,000 years, meaning if the Piri Race Map is accurate, its original sources could be tens of thousands of years older than our official history allows. Was it evidence of a forgotten civilization, survivors of a lost seafaring age? Perhaps even the mythical Atlanteans? Or was it the echo of an ancient cartographic tradition, passed down through cultures now completely lost to time? Some researchers propose that early sailors pieced together ancient global knowledge, fragments surviving cataclysmic events, preserved in secret maps, guarded by empires. Skeptics argue the supposed depiction of Antarctica is a coincidence, a misinterpretation, that the coastline is simply a distorted version of South America. But the mystery persists. An artifact that challenges our understanding of exploration, navigation, and memory itself. The Piri Race Map is more than lines on a page. It is a window into forgotten worlds, into knowledge buried deeper than any treasure. 6. Pumapunku, Bolivia. High in the windswept Andes Mountains of Bolivia lies a place that defies everything we think we know about ancient engineering. Pumapunku. Part of the larger Tiwanaku archaeological complex, it is one of the most enigmatic sites in all of South America. Here, immense stone blocks, some weighing over 100 tons, lie scattered like fallen giants. The precision is almost impossible to believe. Stones cut with such perfect flatness that even a razor blade cannot slip between them. Blocks shaped into complex interlocking forms, fitted together without mortar, holding firm for millennia. Some stones are granite and diorite, materials so hard that even modern diamond tools struggle to carve them. Yet somehow, over 1,000 years ago or more, an ancient civilization achieved feats that seem out of place in their time. Conventional archaeology attributes Pumapunku's construction to the Tiwanaku culture, flourishing between 500 and 1000 AD, but questions remain. Where are the tools that shaped these stones? How did they move 100-ton blocks across rugged terrain without wheels or pack animals? And why? Why build such a site at an altitude of nearly 13,000 feet? Some theories suggest sophisticated knowledge of stoneworking, now lost to history. Others hint at possibilities more controversial, forgotten ancient technologies, or even extraterrestrial influence. Mainstream scholars dismiss these claims, pointing to ingenuity, patience, and teamwork. Yet even today, modern engineers debate how the work could have been done without advanced tools. In its prime, Pumapunku may have been a ceremonial center of extraordinary sophistication, a place where the heavens, the earth, and the human spirit were brought together in stone. Now, shattered by earthquakes, looted by time, Pumapunku lies in ruins. Yet its stones still whisper a silent challenge to remember what was once known and has now been forgotten. 7. Balbecks Megalithic Stones, Lebanon. In the heart of Lebanon's Bekaa Valley stands one of the most awe-inspiring architectural mysteries of the ancient world, Baalbek, known to the Romans as Heliopolis, the city of the sun. Here, towering columns rise skyward, remnants of grand temples dedicated to Jupiter, Venus, and Bacchus. But beneath the Roman grandeur lies something far older, something almost impossible. The base of Baalbek's platform is made of colossal stones, some weighing over 800 tons, and one, the stone of the pregnant woman, weighing close to 1,000 tons. To move these stones today would require our largest cranes and cutting-edge engineering. And yet, ancient builders thousands of years ago somehow transported and placed them with staggering precision. No written records tell us how. No ancient blueprints remain. The stones fit together so tightly without mortar that not even a blade of grass could slip between them. Was it purely human ingenuity, knowledge lost to time? Or were they heirs to an even older, forgotten technology? The Romans built their temples atop this platform, but the megalithic foundation may have been there long before they arrived. Some scholars speculate it dates back to prehistoric cultures, long before recorded history began. Others whisper of even stranger possibilities, that Baalbek was built as a landing platform for ancient visitors from the stars. Myth and mystery walk hand in hand here, and science so far has no definitive answers. Baalbek remains a silent titan, a monument to ambition, mystery, and power beyond understanding. Its stones have stood against time itself, daring us to remember what was once possible. 8. The Antithra Mechanism, Greece. In 1901, off the rocky shores of the Greek island of Antithra, sponge divers stumbled upon a shipwreck frozen in time. Amidst the broken statues and corroded treasures lay something no one expected: the Antithra Mechanism. At first glance, it looked like nothing more than a lump of bronze, half-eaten by the sea. But as researchers carefully cleaned and X-rayed the artifact, an astonishing truth was revealed. Inside the corroded casing were delicate gears, interlocking wheels, and complex inscriptions, components of a machine that would not look out of place in a Renaissance workshop. The Antithra Mechanism is now believed to be over 2,000 years old, an ancient Greek device designed to predict the movements of the sun, the moon, and even eclipses. It could track the cycles of the planets, forecast lunar phases, and mark important athletic games like the Olympics. A mechanical computer, crafted centuries before anything like it was thought possible. Its engineering sophistication was so advanced, no comparable machine would be built again for over 1,000 years. Who built it? Was it the work of a lone genius, perhaps influenced by Archimedes himself? Or was it the product of a once flourishing technological tradition, now lost to history? Fragments suggest the Antithra Mechanism may have had as many as 37 gears, each precisely cut and placed. It is a glimpse into a world where science, art, and engineering were not separate disciplines, but one and the same. And it raises an unsettling question. If such technology existed 2,000 years ago, what else was lost, destroyed by time, war, or the slow decay of forgotten knowledge? The Antithra Mechanism is not just a marvel of ancient technology, it is a reminder that history is not a steady march forward, but a cycle of brilliance, loss, and rediscovery. 9. The disappearance of the Indus Valley Civilization, India and Pakistan. Along the dry riverbeds of modern India and Pakistan lie the ruins of one of humanity's earliest great civilizations, the Indus Valley Civilization. Flourishing over 4,000 years ago, it was a society of astounding achievement. At its height, it spanned more territory than either ancient Egypt or Mesopotamia. Their cities, Harappa, Moenjodaros, Lothal, were marvels of urban planning. Homes were built with uniform bricks. Streets followed precise grids. Sewage systems carried waste away from the city, technology that would not reappear in some parts of the world for millennia. Their trade networks stretched from the Arabian Sea to distant Mesopotamia. Their artisans crafted jewelry of breathtaking beauty. Their engineers mastered the art of standardized construction. And yet, around 1900 BC, something happened. Within a few generations, the cities were abandoned. The streets fell silent. The writing, still undeciphered to this day, faded from history. There are no records of war, no signs of mass graves, no single catastrophic event. Only hints, evidence of a changing climate, a shifting river, a slow unraveling. Did drought drive them to ruin? Did changing trade routes collapse their economy? Was it disease or an unseen enemy? Some scholars point to the drying up of the Sarasvati River, once a life-giving artery through the heart of the Indus lands. Others speculate that internal social unrest, perhaps even an invasion by migrating peoples, hastened their end. But no definitive answer has ever been found. The people of the Indus Valley left behind no epic tales, no grand monuments to their kings, no elaborate tombs of their dead. Only the quiet, stubborn ruins, and a script that whispers secrets no one alive today can read. An entire civilization, built with vision, order, and brilliance, vanished into silence. And in that silence, we are left with the greatest mystery of all. How does a society so advanced simply disappear? 10. The Baghdad Battery, Iraq. In 1938, just outside of Baghdad, Iraq, archaeologist Wilhelm König unearthed a simple clay jar. At first, it seemed unremarkable, a small vessel, no different from the countless pottery shards scattered across Mesopotamian ruins. But inside that jar was a mystery that challenges everything we think we know about ancient technology. The Baghdad Battery, a clay vessel containing a copper cylinder, sealed with asphalt, and a corroded iron rod inserted through its center. A simple device, yet when assembled correctly, capable of generating a small electric charge. A battery, nearly 2,000 years before modern electricity was officially discovered. How could ancient artisans, sometime between 150 BC and 250 AD, have stumbled upon the principles of electricity? Was it an accidental discovery, or did they understand more about the natural forces around them than we give them credit for? Some researchers suggest it was used for electroplating, applying thin layers of precious metals onto jewelry. Others speculate it had ceremonial or even medicinal purposes, perhaps used in rituals where a small jolt of electricity was seen as a divine sign. There is no written record explaining its true function, no manual left behind, only fragments and questions. Skeptics argue the Baghdad Battery may have been a simple storage vessel and that its electrical properties were accidental. Yet the precision of its components, the deliberate layering of materials, suggest intent. Was this an isolated experiment? Or was it part of a broader ancient knowledge, a hidden chapter in humanity's technological evolution? The Baghdad Battery stands as a symbol of a deeper truth, that the ancients may have glimpsed forces we only rediscovered thousands of years later. How much have we forgotten, and how much more is still waiting to be found? 11. The Sumerian King List, buried beneath layers of dust and legend. Ancient scribes once etched a history unlike any other. The Sumerian King List, a chronicle of rulers who reigned long before the rise of Rome, before the pharaohs built their pyramids, before history, as we know it, even began. Written in cuneiform on stone tablets, the King List records the names of ancient monarchs who ruled the land of Sumer, today's southern Iraq. But hidden within these lists are reigns that defy belief. Some kings are said to have ruled for tens of thousands of years, 8 kings reigning for a combined total of over 240,000 years, before a great flood swept across the land. After the flood, the reigns become more human, kings ruling for decades, lifespans we can recognize. But the earliest records remain strange, otherworldly. Was this mythology a poetic way of linking their rulers to the divine, or a faint echo of a time when human beings, or something like them, lived beyond our current understanding? Some scholars argue that the King List represents a blending of legend and memory, a mix of real kings and mythological heroes. Others point to the similarities with other ancient myths, the long-lived antediluvian kings in the Bible, the demigods of Greece, the timeless reigns of ancient Egypt. Is it coincidence, or a window into a forgotten chapter of human existence? What does it mean when cultures half a world apart, cultures supposedly unconnected, speak of golden ages, of men who lived for centuries, for millennia? The Sumerian King List doesn't answer these questions, it raises them. Maybe it's a legend, maybe it's a memory, or maybe, just maybe, it's a clue. A glimpse of an age when the impossible was real, and the true history of humankind was very different from the one we know. 12. The Yonauni Monument, Japan. Off the southern coast of Japan, beneath the restless waves of the East China Sea, lies a structure that challenges the boundary between natural formation and ancient craftsmanship. The Yonauni Monument, discovered by a local diver in 1986, what appeared at first to be simple underwater rock formations, soon revealed sharp angles, perfectly flat surfaces, and intricate stair-like platforms. The structure spans over 150 meters long and 25 meters high. Gigantic steps, platforms, corridors, and what some believe are ceremonial altars, all carved into solid sandstone, 25 meters beneath the sea. The debate began almost immediately. Was this a marvel of nature, erosion by currents, earthquakes, and time? Or was it the work of a forgotten civilization, drowned by rising seas? Marine geologist Masaki Kimura, after years of study, declared the site man-made, a possible sunken city, abandoned and submerged at the end of the last ice age, over 10,000 years ago. He points to what appear to be carvings of animals, massive faces, and road-like features leading away from the main monument. If Yonauni was built by human hands, it would rewrite the story of civilization itself, pushing back the timeline of complex societies thousands of years earlier than historians currently accept. Skeptics argue that natural tectonic forces, combined with the brittle nature of sandstone, could easily create the monument's straight lines and right angles. Yet even they cannot fully explain the symmetry, the layout, or the seeming intentionality of its construction. Is Yonauni a natural wonder? or a lost relic of a civilization swallowed by the seas at the end of the Ice Age? A civilization whose story was wiped clean by rising oceans, leaving behind only stone, silence, and mystery. Beneath the waves, across the forgotten ages, there are stories still waiting to be heard. Perhaps somewhere deep beneath the oceans lie the first chapters of human history, chapters we have yet to read. 13. The Lost City of Dwarka, India. In the ancient texts of India, there are stories of a magnificent city built by the gods, ruled by heroes, and eventually swallowed by the sea. This was Dwarka, the sacred city of Krishna. For centuries, it was dismissed as myth, a story told in the Mahabharata, India's great epic, about a kingdom so glorious, its towers shone like crystal and gold. According to the ancient texts, after a devastating war, the city was abandoned, and the oceans rose to claim it. Myth until science caught up. In the early 2000s, marine archaeologists discovered something remarkable off the coast of modern Dwarka, Gujarat. Underwater structures, roads, walls, platforms, submerged nearly 100 feet beneath the surface. The ruins covered a massive area, several square kilometers, suggesting the presence of an advanced planned city. Stone anchors, pottery shards, and evidence of human settlement were recovered from the depths. Carbon dating suggests parts of the structures could be over 9,000 years old. If these dates hold true, it would place Dwarka's origins far earlier than any known civilization in India, and perhaps even rival the earliest cities in Mesopotamia. Some scholars believe these findings confirm that ancient Indian legends hold kernels of historical truth, that Dwarka was real, and its fate was exactly as described, a flourishing city lost to the sea. Others argue that the ruins are remnants of later coastal settlements, gradually submerged by rising seas after the last ice age. But whether the city beneath the waves is the fabled Dwarka of Krishna or not, it stands as a powerful reminder that myth and memory often intertwine, and that sometimes what we call legends are merely histories waiting to be rediscovered. Beneath the tides, beneath the sands, forgotten worlds await. And in the search for Dwarka, we glimpse how easily civilizations can rise, shine, and vanish. 14. The Celtic Round Towers, Ireland. Across the emerald hills and misty fields of Ireland, ancient towers rise into the sky, silent sentinels of a forgotten age. The Celtic Round Towers, over 60 of them still stand, some intact, others crumbling, yet all whispering the same silent mystery. Built between the 9th and 12th centuries, these towers stretch as high as 40 meters, with narrow, elevated entrances several meters above ground level. Their construction is remarkably consistent, perfectly round, thick-walled, and tapering as they rise. But their true purpose remains a puzzle. Were they bell towers? Places of refuge during Viking raids? Religious monuments aligned with the heavens? Or something even stranger? Some scholars believe they served multiple purposes, signaling danger, protecting sacred relics, and marking monastic settlements. Others point to the tower's unusual architectural features, the elevated entrances, difficult to access without ladders, and the near-impervious walls that could withstand assault. There are even theories suggesting the towers were aligned with astronomical phenomena, acting as giant sundials or celestial markers. In ancient Celtic tradition, the sun, stars, and seasons were sacred rhythms, cycles of life, death, and rebirth. Yet no inscriptions remain to tell their builders' intentions. No chronicles record their origins. The monks and masons who raised them left only stone behind, and silence. Today they stand alone, weathered by centuries of storms, wars, and time, watching, waiting, keeping their secrets. The round towers of Ireland remind us, even in a land rich with story, some chapters will forever remain unwritten. 15. Mohenjo-Daro's heat blast, Pakistan. In the Sindh province of modern-day Pakistan lie the ruins of one of the world's oldest cities, Mohenjo-Daro. Built over 4,500 years ago, part of the magnificent Indus Valley civilization. A marvel of ancient urban planning, wide boulevards, sewage systems, complex public baths. A city of order and intelligence. Now, a city of silence. But among its ruins, archaeologists discovered something strange. Stones fused together, bricks melted as if exposed to searing, unimaginable heat. Radiation readings higher than normal background levels. In some sections of Mohenjo-Daro, skeletons lie in the streets, not buried in ceremonial graves, but as if death came swiftly and violently. Some scholars propose natural explanations, a cataclysmic fire, volcanic eruptions, earthquakes. But there is no nearby volcano, no layer of ash, no clear evidence of fire consuming the city. Others, more controversially, have suggested something far more terrifying, that Mohenjo-Daro was destroyed by an explosion unlike anything seen in the ancient world. Some researchers even whisper of advanced technologies, long forgotten, capable of devastation beyond what history records. The ancient Sanskrit epic, the Mahabharata, speaks of weapons wielding the power of 1,000 suns, of blinding light, scorching winds, and destruction on a scale beyond comprehension. Are these ancient metaphors, or echoes of something real? Did Mohenjo-Daro fall to a natural disaster, or to forces we are only beginning to imagine? Today, Mohenjo-Daro sleeps under the desert sun, its answers buried in melted stone and ancient dust. And as we walk its silent streets, we are left with a single, chilling question. What truly happened here? 16. The Longyu Caves, China. In the rolling hills of Zhejiang Province, eastern China, a secret slumbered beneath the earth for over 2,000 years. Until 1992, when a local farmer, curious about a seemingly bottomless pond, began to drain it. What emerged was not a natural cavern, but something far more astonishing. An immense, man-made underground world. The Longyu Caves. At least 24 separate chambers, each hand-carved with extraordinary precision. Massive interiors supported by evenly spaced stone pillars, perfect right angles, smooth, polished walls, every surface adorned with intricate, uniform patterns of chisel marks. Each cave covers thousands of square meters, and yet there are no historical records, no ancient texts, no local legends, nothing to explain who built them, why, or how. The amount of stone removed is staggering, an estimated 1 million cubic meters. If built by hand, it would have required tens of thousands of workers laboring for decades, an effort comparable to the construction of the Great Wall. And yet no tools have been found, no broken implements, no signs of mistakes. The caves were crafted with stunning care, and then seemingly abandoned. Were they palaces for forgotten kings, hidden temples, storage vaults for treasures lost to time? Or were they created for a purpose we can no longer even imagine? The Longyu Caves remain one of history's greatest riddles, a silent testament to ambition, skill, and secrecy. Carved from solid stone and carved from memory itself. A forgotten world, hidden just beneath our feet. 17. The Taios Caves, Ecuador. Hidden in the dense jungles of Ecuador lies a labyrinth few have dared to explore. The Taios Caves, an underground world shrouded in legend, mystery, and controversy. Descending through narrow shafts and into vast caverns, the Taios system stretches for miles beneath the earth, its full extent still unknown. But it is not the caves themselves that ignite the imagination. It is what is rumored to lie within. Stories speak of an ancient metallic library, thousands of metal books etched with strange, unknown symbols, golden statues, complex machinery, evidence, some claim, of a lost civilization or something not of this earth. In 1969, Argentine explorer Juan Morich claimed he had entered hidden chambers within the caves, guided by indigenous Shuar tribesmen, and discovered the metallic relics firsthand. His claims were never fully proven, and expeditions to verify his story have ended in controversy and failure. Even Neil Armstrong, the man who set foot on the moon, joined a major scientific expedition to the Taios Caves in 1976. Yet, despite exhaustive searching, no metallic library was ever officially found. Still, the cave system itself remains astonishing. Massive passages, perfectly rectangular shafts, shapes that seem almost too geometrical to be entirely natural. Is the legend simply myth? Or is the truth hidden deeper within, in chambers no outsider has yet reached? The Taios Caves remain a riddle, an open question whispered by the jungle. A reminder that the earth itself still holds secrets deeper than we dare imagine. 18. Ancient astronomical knowledge. Long before the telescope, long before the modern sciences, ancient peoples looked up at the night sky and understood. They saw patterns in the stars. They mapped the heavens with stone. They aligned their greatest monuments to the rhythm of the cosmos. Stonehenge, standing on the English plain for over 5,000 years, aligned precisely with the midsummer sunrise and midwinter sunset. Was it a temple to the sun? A giant astronomical calendar? Or something more? The Great Pyramids of Egypt, aligned almost perfectly to true north. The layout of the three pyramids mirrors the stars of Orion's belt, a constellation deeply sacred to the ancient Egyptians. Was it mere coincidence, or a deliberate message carved into the earth, connecting the pharaohs with the stars for eternity? In the jungles of Mexico at Chichen Itza, the Maya built the Pyramid of Kukulkan, a monument that, during the equinoxes, creates the illusion of a serpent slithering down its steps in light and shadow. How did ancient civilizations, with no telescopes, no satellites, achieve such precise cosmic alignments? How did they chart the solstices, the equinoxes, the movements of Venus and Mars, tracking cycles that would take generations to observe? Across the globe, in every ancient culture, the stars were not just distant lights. They were guides, gods, calendars, woven into the very fabric of life. We live today surrounded by technology, but the ancients lived surrounded by wonder. They watched the heavens with patience, with devotion, and they built monuments that still stand, timeless instruments reaching for the stars. Their legacy reminds us that knowledge is not only measured by what we build, but by how deeply we dream. 19. The Olmec Colossal Heads, Mexico. In the dense jungles and rolling hills of ancient Mesoamerica, stone faces stare out across time. The Olmec Colossal Heads, giants of basalt carved more than 3,000 years ago by one of the earliest great civilizations of the Americas. Each head stands between 5 and 11 feet tall. The largest weighs over 50 tons. They were carved from single, massive boulders, stones that were transported across miles of rivers and rugged jungle. Who do they represent? Warriors? Rulers? Gods? Their expressions are stern. Their features, broad noses, thick lips, powerful jaws, hint at individuality. These are not generic faces. They are portraits. And every head wears a helmet, leading some to speculate they depict ancient ball players, warriors, or revered kings. The craftsmanship is stunning, fine details etched into rock harder than steel tools of the time. Yet the logistics of moving and shaping such stones remain a marvel. How did the Olmecs, with no wheels, no draft animals, and no metal tools, accomplish such feats? Some researchers point to ingenious techniques, vast teams working together, rivers used as highways, slow and steady craftsmanship. Others see deeper mysteries, influences from across oceans, long-lost knowledge, echoes of forgotten journeys between worlds. The Olmec civilization eventually faded, leaving behind no written records, no grand temples towering above the trees. Only these faces, silent, unmoving, watching. The colossal heads are more than monuments. They are memories carved in stone, the last guardians of a civilization whose voice has been lost, but whose gaze remains steady as the stars. 20. The Great Zimbabwe Ruins, Zimbabwe, in the heart of southern Africa, where the savanna stretches endlessly toward the horizon, rises a city of stone, abandoned and silent. The Great Zimbabwe Ruins, a monumental testament to a lost empire and a mystery that still challenges historians today. Built entirely without mortar, the walls of Great Zimbabwe rise as high as 36 feet, some stretching over 800 feet in length. Each granite block was carefully shaped and placed, locked together with such precision that they have endured for nearly a millennium. At its height, between the 11th and 15th centuries, Great Zimbabwe was the heart of a powerful kingdom, a city of kings, traders, craftsmen, and priests. Gold, ivory, and exotic goods flowed from its markets, linking this hidden civilization to distant lands as far away as China and Persia. The name Zimbabwe itself comes from the Shona phrase Zimba za Mabwe, houses of stone. Yet by the 15th century, Great Zimbabwe was abandoned, its towering walls left to crumble under the endless African sky. Why? Was it climate change exhausting the land's resources? Was it political upheaval, trade collapse, or conquest by rising rival powers? No one knows for certain. When European explorers first stumbled upon the ruins centuries later, they refused to believe that native Africans could have built such a sophisticated city. Wild theories of lost white empires and ancient Phoenician colonies were proposed, racist myths that took decades to unravel. Today, the truth is recognized. Great Zimbabwe was the work of African hands, a brilliant, independent civilization unmatched in its time. The stones of Great Zimbabwe still stand, weathered but unbroken, a silent song of ingenuity, resilience, and forgotten glory. Proof that history's greatest stories are not always written in books, but carved into the very earth beneath our feet. 21. The Hidden Chambers of Giza, Egypt. For thousands of years, the pyramids of Giza have stood like sentinels on the edge of the desert, monuments to a civilization that still holds its secrets close. The Great Pyramid, a marvel of engineering, aligned almost perfectly to true north, built with over 2 million limestone blocks, each weighing several tons. Inside, only a handful of known rooms have ever been discovered. Narrow passageways, grand chambers, mysterious shafts. But modern technology is revealing there may be more. In 2017, an international team of scientists used advanced scanning techniques, muon radiography, to peer inside the Great Pyramid without disturbing a single stone. They detected a massive void, a hidden chamber nearly 30 meters long, lying above the Grand Gallery. An empty space, sealed for over 4,000 years. What lies inside? A secret burial chamber? A cache of lost knowledge? Or simply an architectural feature? Created and forgotten? The discovery raises even bigger questions. The Great Pyramid is not just a tomb, it is a machine of mysteries. Its exact purpose remains debated: a royal tomb, a spiritual gateway, a monument to immortality, or something far beyond our current understanding. And this hidden void, this silent room untouched by time, waits, waiting for the courage and the wisdom to unlock its secrets. Beneath the sands of Egypt, beneath the stones of kings, there are still stories yet to be told. And sometimes, the greatest mysteries are hidden in plain sight. '22. The Labyrinth of Hawara, Egypt. South of the Giza Pyramids, beyond the reach of most travelers, lies a ruin half forgotten beneath the sands. Hawara, once the site of one of ancient Egypt's greatest engineering marvels, the legendary labyrinth. Greek historian Herodotus described it as greater than any wonder he had ever seen. A colossal underground complex with 3,000 rooms, divided evenly between above-ground halls and subterranean chambers. He spoke of endless twisting passages, grand columns, and intricately decorated walls. A place where one could easily become lost forever. Pliny the Elder, Strabo, and Diodorus also recorded tales of the labyrinth, describing it as an engineering feat rivaling the pyramids themselves. A place not merely for burial, but for power, ceremony, and perhaps the safeguarding of secret knowledge. But today, almost nothing remains. The ruins at Hawara, battered by time, floods, and the greed of treasure hunters, offer only broken stones and crumbled foundations. In the 19th century, explorer Flinders Petrie excavated the site, uncovering hints of enormous foundations and shattered walls, confirming the existence of something monumental. But was the true labyrinth buried deeper? Some believe the remains we see are only the surface, that a vast subterranean network still lies hidden below. Recent scanning projects hint at large anomalies beneath the sands, massive, unexplored voids still untouched by modern excavation. Could the true labyrinth still exist, its halls untouched for thousands of years, its secrets sealed away, waiting for the day the sands are lifted? The Labyrinth of Hawara remains a ghost story written in stone, a lost monument to ambition, mystery, and forgotten power. Perhaps someday its halls will echo with footsteps once again. Until then, it sleeps beneath the desert. 23. The Dropa Stones, China. In the remote mountains of China's Qinghai Tibet Plateau, among forgotten caves and ancient burial grounds, a discovery was made that would ignite decades of controversy. The Dropa stones, round, thin stone discs, hundreds of them, each carved with a strange, spiral groove winding into the center. First reported in the 1930s, these discs were said to be nearly 12,000 years old, each one meticulously shaped, each one whispering a forgotten story. According to the legends surrounding the discovery, tiny hieroglyph-like markings were found etched within the spirals. So small they required magnification to decipher. When translated, it was claimed the markings told an astonishing story. The story of the Dropa, a people who came from the stars, crash-landed on Earth, and struggled to survive, building a life among the harsh mountains. The discs allegedly spoke of the hardships faced by these visitors, how they were shunned by local tribes, and how they carved their history into stone to ensure they would not be forgotten. Skeptics, of course, raised immediate doubts. Many dismissed the story as a hoax, pointing to the lack of verified original artifacts and the absence of academic publications confirming the translations. And yet, the mystery lingers. Some of the supposed discs, or objects resembling them, have appeared in museums labeled only as ancient stone wheels without explanation. Others were said to have vanished into private collections, lost to time and secrecy. Were the Dropa stones real? Were they ancient records of extraterrestrial visitors? Or simply natural relics wrapped in layers of myth? Until the true stones are found and their message heard once again, the Dropa remain shadows, caught between legend and memory. A whispered story carved in stone or written across the stars. 24. The Temple of Seti and the Helicopter Hieroglyphs, Egypt. In the ancient city of Abydos, along the banks of the Nile, stands a temple built for a god-king. The Temple of Seti, a place of devotion, power, and perhaps a glimpse into something far stranger. Hidden among the sprawling inscriptions is a particular set of hieroglyphs that has puzzled researchers, historians, and dreamers alike. Images that, at first glance, appear strikingly familiar. A shape that resembles a modern helicopter, another that looks eerily like a submarine, still another, a tank or an aircraft. How could such futuristic forms appear in a temple carved over 3,000 years ago? Some claim it is undeniable proof that ancient civilizations possessed advanced technology or knowledge passed down from an even older, forgotten age. Skeptics, however, provide a different explanation. They argue that the strange images are the result of palimpsest, the overlapping of two sets of hieroglyphs after centuries of temple repair and recarving. Over time, erosion and restoration may have caused different symbols to blur into accidental shapes, creating an illusion of modern vehicles. Coincidence or something more? Whether accident or intention, the helicopter hieroglyphs remain a symbol of humanity's endless curiosity and our desire to believe that we are connected to mysteries greater than ourselves. In every age, across every civilization, the question remains the same. What have we forgotten? And what might we one day remember? 25. The mystery of our origins. We believe we know the story of human history. From simple beginnings to the grand civilizations that rose and fell with time. A story of slow, steady progress, of invention, discovery, and mastery of the world around us. But scattered across the earth are anomalies that suggest another possibility. Tools found in geological layers millions of years old, maps depicting lands hidden under ice for tens of thousands of years, myths and legends from every culture, speaking of gods descending from the sky, bearing the gifts of knowledge. Are these mere coincidences, misinterpretations, or are they echoes of a chapter in human history long forgotten? Some propose that long before the civilizations we know, there were others, ancient cultures whose achievements rivaled or even surpassed our own. Civilizations wiped away by cataclysm, their memories preserved only as fragments in myth and scattered artifacts. Was there once an age of greatness, an Atlantis, a Zep-Tepi, a first time? Were humanity's earliest ancestors more connected to the cosmos than we dare believe? The tales of gods who walked among men, the sudden rise of agriculture, writing, mathematics, the unexplainable jumps in human development, all point to a possibility we can no longer ignore. Perhaps history is not a simple story of evolution, but a grand cycle, rising, falling, remembering, forgetting. We are not at the end of history's journey. We are standing at the threshold of rediscovery. Because the past is not truly lost. It lives in the stones, in the myths, and in the questions we dare to ask. And the greatest discoveries are still ahead.